Good evening. Will you all please rise for the presentation of the colors?
Color guard, pull. Right face. Post colors. Present arms. Order arms. Right face. Forward march.
Thank you. And I think the proper thing to say at this point is, who? Thank you. And I'm sorry to leave out the Marines, but again, I'm just back 11 days from my second trip to Afghanistan, 4 trips before that to Iraq, all of them under the watchful eye of the U.S. Army. It may have something to do with the fact that I'm the son of an Army captain, but we will spread the wealth. But so far, I'm able to stand here before you tonight thanks to the fine fighting men and women of the U.S. Army. And I know this can be a tough crowd, not complainers necessarily, but a tough crowd. And I brought something back with me. Because if I hear one complaint about the meal before you tonight, I wanted to bring a friendly brown plastic reminder that all of you would know. Remember your old friend, the MRE. This happens to be the only meal I will trade for, and by the end of the trip, the only thing I can think about consuming: spaghetti and meat sauce, ladies and gentlemen. I need not tell you, especially those of you who are dismounted infantry, you get to become expert on the number of mathematical combinations. Will this be a cracker and cheese MRE? Am I going to get shafted with watery grape jelly? Why would anyone give me a pack of Charms? I'm going to throw them out of the Hummer. Thank you. Am I going to get the jalapeno cheese sauce or just the processed cheese sauce? Who gets the new cobbler and where did that come from? How long has the cobbler been online? This is totally new to me. I usually only would trade for the mint pound cake. I thought that would go over bigger here. And the double fudge brownie, which, thank you. Big fan of the lemon lime powder. Not, of course, mixed with liquid, just with a spoon. It's very good. What would we do without the MREs? I've had occasion to go back through portions of the desert near the berm from Kuwait, and I can tell you that all the wrappers are still right where you left them. Thank you very much. That plastic will outlive all of us. I am just back. And to my civilian friends in New York, I always come back with great stories. I have it pretty good because this last trip, for example, we went back to a fire base called Moorhead, east of Kabul. We had visited there a year ago and obviously went to Bagram just because it's so beautiful in Bagram. And you know, we arrive and we travel with private guys, usually former SAS. They are Scots technically, but try understanding a word they say. And then they hand us over in this case to an SF company at Moorhead, and then we were with elements of the 1st Cav this trip, and a mixed element. Normally I've been with 1st Cav and 3rd ID on previous trips. I knew we'd hear that too. And it's not an overstatement for me to come up here and thank you all for the fact that I'm able to take a breath and stand up and enjoy a meal and enjoy your company and just spend a few minutes thanking you for your service tonight. The armed forces of this country really have kept us alive on the trips we've made to report. And I want to say one thing about what is really the elephant in the room. It is unbelievable to me that at 3 Corps headquarters in Fort Hood, they have a death toll now overseas and a death toll domestically. They have lost 545 souls to these 2 wars, and now they have lost 13 souls who did nothing more than show up for a college graduation and at the family processing center that day. Today we televised one of the most wrenching memorial services I have ever seen. As I need not tell you, life on base is a modest existence, and it's not for everybody. It tends to be for the strongest among us, and it tends to be for people who would never imagine any other life. In an all-volunteer force, that's the only person who's going to get the job done. This was a terrible event that the Army has lived through, that our country has lived through. There are smarter people than me who will deal with how the Army deals with it going forward. But I think all of civilian America is kind of wanting to say something, not knowing quite how. It's a terrible, terrible wound we've suffered. Nobody needed it. How perverse that in a stateside Army base, let alone the largest post in the United States of any kind, a place where, as Barry McCaffrey always says, it looks like a Dallas suburb and nobody locks their doors at night. And in the clusters of base housing, those little neighborhoods, everybody sits on the stoop in the evening, everybody knows everybody, and during deployment time, everybody comes together. That this would happen, to shatter the peace on a stateside base. So, I don't know what's appropriate. Perhaps we just take a moment of silence and think about the 13 souls and the dozens of wounded. Thank you very much, and may God bless all of them. That's okay. Thank you. So I'm very honored to be here with you tonight. And I'm also very honored to give you the first element of this evening's program, and that is a video that the IAVA is very anxious that you see. My son's 18, and he knows every time that PSA comes on, because it airs a lot during what we watch, which in our household is NASCAR and football and baseball. So he knows every time it airs, he says, "Oh, Dad's going to cry." We lose Dad every time. It just gets to me, and I met the young serviceman's mom just tonight. And Paul, way to make me sweat. I'm sitting there sweating thinking he wouldn't use Katie Couric and not me, would he? He wouldn't. My buddy Paul wouldn't call me out like that. I mean, I'm here. But Katie went on for a while, I thought. I don't know. It's what everybody at my table said. I'm just saying. I'm just repeating what I heard. I thought it was fine. But